And welcome to IELTS Speaking Mastery. This is me, 𝐻𝐻𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐠 joining you from Neethus Academy. Tonight we're going to have a look at part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the speaking module. Yes, if time permits us, we're going to have a look at all of the 3 parts. But before that, let me see who will have joined. Good evening, everyone, once again. Let me see who will have joined. How are you all doing? It's been a week since we met. And I would love to know how you guys are doing. How was your week? What did you guys do? Christmas is fast approaching. Were you guys busy decorating? Did you all start decorations? Decorating your house? Did you all start decorating your house and your office and all those places that you are in? And when I ask you about how your week was, there is an important question and you already know it. What's that question? How was your practice? How did you guys practice? How well did you practice? Could you practice really well? And if you couldn't practice, you have to tell me the reason why you couldn't practice. Was it because of you or because of the circumstances? What was the reason? Why couldn't you practice really well? Tell me, because I am your accountability partner. So when you have someone to whom you will have to say whether you practiced or not, that would give you some kind of motivation to practice. So that's why I'm asking you this question almost every week without a fail. I'm asking you this because I really want to know it, and I also want to motivate you guys to practice every day without a fail. Okay? Okay, so I wanted to share a thought with you all. Basically a quote said by Alexander the Great. The quote goes like this. I'm telling all these quotes and thoughts and I'm sharing all of these things with you in order to motivate you, in order to give you the motivation to practice and to work towards your dreams. So the quote goes like this: nothing is impossible to they who will try. I will repeat, nothing is impossible to they who will try. This quote is said by Alexander the Great, and at this point I should tell you who Alexander the Great is. He is, by the age of 30, this man had created one of the largest empires in the history, stretching from Greece to northwestern India, and he's considered to be one of the greatest and most powerful military commanders. So this man is telling us, yes, hello, good evening, no time and no proper guidance, Rania, Prasant. What happened? No proper guidance? We're here to help you and guide you. So, I don't know what's happening. We're here to help you. So if you need any help, you can call us and we'll help you with that. If you need help with your speaking or writing or reading or listening or whatever that you need help with, we're here to help you. So you can call us. Okay, tell me what all things you need guidance with. Okay. Rania Prasant. Yes, the quote. I was talking about the quote. Nothing is impossible to they who will try. So, and that man is telling us, such a most successful military commander is telling us, like, if you try, anything is possible to you. All right. All that you have to do is, Ashwati Mohan, good evening. You have to try. Have to at least give it a shot. Okay. So sometimes we have this nature of not practicing certain areas or modules, or not ignoring such questions, or completely avoiding certain parts because those parts are difficult for us. But you shouldn't do it. You should at least try. Give it a try, and you should start doing things. Okay. And starting is the first step, and you should not only start but also continue. Consistency is also very important, and it's easy for anybody to start something, but consistency is something which has to come from which requires, consistency is something that requires a lot of willpower. So you need to have so much willpower to be consistent, and being consistent is important too. So that's how you'll be able to, if you try and if you keep trying, I'm sure you'll be able to achieve your dreams. If he could build empires, we can build as small empires. By empires, I mean, good evening, Divya Divs, Ashwati Mohan, good evening, Anshu Vipin, hello, Deepa Bopin, good evening, Rania Plani, good evening, Judin George, Matthew, good evening. I'm so happy to see you all here. So if you, I hope you all had a beautiful week, wonderful week. So tell me about your week. Let's just talk about your week for a while and then we'll move on to the questions, all right? So yes, I was talking about the importance of consistency and starting something and practicing. And if you do that, I'm sure you'll be able to reach your dream country, able to do your dream job, study in your dream university. Okay, that will happen to you, but you have to try. And that's what even Alexander the Great is saying. Nothing is impossible to they who will try. So let's all keep trying and let's all keep working towards our dreams. Yes. Bilby Joseph, good evening. Good evening. Okay, I'm so happy to see you here. So shall we begin today's session? So I think that's enough of motivation. I hope you're all motivated by all of these things. You should have some kind of motivation. Motivation is very important to do something. If you have no motivation, we wouldn't be able to do anything. We wouldn't be able to work towards our dreams. We need motivation to work towards our dreams. So I wanted to help you that way too. So we'll begin. We'll start. So are you all ready for the questions? Are you all ready for the questions? Say yes or no. We're going to start with part 1. Today, for part 1, I've chosen easy questions, but we should practice all types of questions. We should practice difficult questions. We should practice medium level difficult questions. We should practice really easy questions because we don't know what kind of questions we're going to get. So we'll be practicing all types of questions. All right. So tell me, are you all ready for the session? Say yes or no. I want to hear that from you. I want to know if you guys are ready or not. Jismi Sanil, good evening. Susmi Anu, good evening. You're all joining, I guess. You're all joining. Tell me, how are you all doing? You didn't tell me how you all doing. And you didn't tell me anything about your week and your practice. Okay, you actually told me about your practice, but about your week and all of that. Yes, you're ready. Okay, Susmi is ready. Sushmita Ramaya is ready. Sona P.S., good evening. So you're ready. So you're all ready. So we're going to start. We will start. Okay. So what I'll do is like what we usually do. I'll show the question on the screen. You'll be able to see the question on the screen and you will have to answer the question. And I'll also give you a sample answer, like a way you can answer that question. I'll say the answer too. But I want to hear your answer. You can type in the answers in the comments and I will correct your answers. So we'll start and I'm going to show the question on the screen. I'll say the question first and then I'll show the question on the screen. So the first question is, for part 1, first question is, do you write a lot? I'll show the question on the screen. You'll be able to see the question on the screen soon. Okay? Yes, I'll show the question on the screen and you can read the questions. For exam, you're not going to see the question like this on the screen, but here, if you did not catch the question, I want you to clearly understand the question. For that, because of that, I'm actually showing it on the screen. Otherwise, I wouldn't have actually shown. And for exam, you will not see the question. All right. So look at the question. Do you write a lot? That is the question. Try to answer this question. I'll give you 2 seconds because this is part 1. It's very easy to answer. These questions are very easy to answer. Try to answer this question. Renia Palni, good evening. Clarina Fernandez, good evening. Good evening, everybody. So try to answer this question. I'm waiting for your answers. You can type in the answers in the comments and I'll correct it. If there is any correction, I'll correct it. Okay? If there is any mistake, I'll correct it for you. Coden Lewis, good evening. Good evening. Okay, so how will you answer this question, first of all? Do you write a lot? There is a simple answer that we can give to this question. Yes or a no. Okay, but will we stop there? No. Why? Because this is our IELTS speaking test and we don't stop with short answers. We keep answering. We give answers in 2 or 3 sentences. So for these type of questions, how will you answer? You can say why you don't write so much. You can add that information. Or if you're saying you write a lot, you can also say what you write. So these are the 2 things that you can add to this information so that your answer would be 2 or 3 sentences long. You would be answering enough. Try to add these informations and answer your question. Add either why you don't write or you write. So I think if you say yes, you don't write a lot, but you write a little bit, then you can say what you write, so you can make your answer big. That's what you can do. All right, try to answer it. We don't have time to waste. You have to answer it really quick. Your answers have to come really quick. When you're at the examination hall, you get a question, you're answering. You don't have time to think and answer. Sushmita Ramaya, yes, I do. While preparing for my exams, to make that as a practice, I write a lot. It helps me to memorize contents easily. Very good. Very good. While preparing for my exams, to make I write while preparing. Yes, I do write, but I don't write a lot. The question is, do you write a lot? Okay, so you have to say, I don't write a lot, I write little. That's while I'm preparing for my exams, to make it a practice. And okay, you're saying you write a lot, and which that would help me to memorize contents properly. There is a tiny little problem with this sentence structure, but otherwise your answer is good. Soumya Ajish, no, not much. I write very little. Why do you write very little? That's because you're not interested in writing much, or you don't think you have the talent to write. And what is that little that you write? You have to mention that too, Soumya Ajish. Okay, add that information to your answer. Reshma John, yes, I do write a lot. I have been writing as a part of my IELTS exam preparation for the last 2 months. Okay, I have been writing as part of my, not I have been practice writing. I've been practicing writing. You can either say I've been practicing writing, or I've been writing for my IELTS practice or IELTS preparation. I've been writing a lot for my IELTS preparation. Okay. I've been writing for the last 2 months for the IELTS preparation. So you can say that. Okay, I write a lot. I'm writing a lot recently. You can say something like this. Yes, I'm writing a lot recently because I'm practicing. I've been practicing for my IELTS for the past 2 months, and I've been writing for that. You can say it like that. Marinaman, hi, good evening, ma'am. No, I don't write. So I don't write a lot because I like to type than writing. Okay, I like to. That could also come as writing. Typing can also be writing, but your answer would be right. Your answer would still be right because this question could be read the way you read it. So that's not because you don't know the language, because it is how the question is framed. So your answer would go. But you could have made your answer a little more lengthier, okay? A little more lengthy. Yes, I do write a lot. I've been practicing writing as a part of my IELTS exam. Okay. Reshma John. Okay, you've said okay for that. No, I don't write a lot because I like to type than writing. Jansi Santosh. Yes, I do write a lot. Lots and lots. I write a lot. You can just say I write a lot. It helps me to memorize things quickly. I usually write a lot for, you can just say lot. Okay, that would sound better. Write a lot for because for my IELTS exam, because I'm practicing for IELTS exam. Okay, you can, Jansi Sandosh, when you answer it, your answer is good. I do write a lot. It helps me to memorize things quickly. I usually write a lot for my IELTS practice. Okay, you can say like that. Rahul Revati. Yes, I do. Whenever I explore mesmerizing places, they influence me a lot to write about the beauty of that journey. Beautiful answer. Okay, this is an amazing answer. That answer is really beautiful. That's a very good answer. For those of you who want to hear that answer, I'll repeat. Yes, I do. Whenever I explore mesmerizing places, they influence me a lot to write about the beauty of that journey. Okay. So, do you hear that answer? That's a beautiful answer. Okay. Another way you can answer this question is you can say, I don't usually write a lot. Because I'm not into writing. That's not my area of interest. But sometimes I write, I journal, and sometimes I also write letters to my friends. So that's the bit of writing that I do, but I don't usually write a lot. It's just a little bit of writing like this that I do. You can answer it like that too, okay, if you want. You can be creative with your answers. You can say different things for your answers, okay? You can just think and you can just say whatever that comes to your mind. So I think we're done with that question. Shall we move on to the next question? Yes, we shall move on to the next question. Next question is, what do you like to write and why? So, for most of our answers, we already said what we like to write. So you can say, like I said before, you can say that I like to write so and so things. I do this and why. So many of you said about IELTS practicing. So you write IELTS answers, IELTS writing tasks. So, or you write a lot to memorize. So you can say, I write for IELTS practicing, IELTS practice. I write for IELTS practice. I do it because I want to memorize things, and also I need more practice to get good scores in that exam. So that's why I write IELTS question answers and writing tasks and stuff like that to just practice and to get better score for my exam. Yes, I'm writing a lot because at work I need to write more. Bilby Joseph, I'm writing okay, again, the question is, why? What do you like to write? I think I told you in the first slide that if a question is in simple present tense, you will try to answer that question in simple present tense only. You would not go for present continuous tense. And what is present continuous tense? That ing. That ing is present continuous tense. So you're saying, I'm writing a lot because at work I need to write. You're saying, Bilby Joseph is saying, I'm writing. That is wrong. Okay, you can say, I write a lot. What do you like to write? The question. You just answered why alone, but you should answer the main question. What do you like to write? What do you like to write? Okay, what do you like to write? I like to write reports, if that's what you're writing at your work. I like to write reports because I need to write reports at my work, at my office, in my office. I'm asked to do, and that's my job. So writing reports is my job, so I write, and I like writing it. Not just because it's my job, I like doing it. I love writing reports, and I write it. I write it all, one, because I like it, and secondly because that's my job, and that's what I do at my office. All right, you can say something like this. And always, you don't have to have sentences framed like as in you would frame it for your writing task answers. Now, when I'm saying, you understand that I'm putting in sentences like you would say in a normal conversation. Yes, you're going to have a normal conversation there. So you need to give a normal conversation there. Is it clear? Okay. Is anyone else planning to answer? Should I wait for you? Or can I move on to the next question? Okay, so what do you like to write? I didn't answer that question for you. Okay, you can say, in my answer, it was, I like to write journal, and also I love journaling. I love to write my diary, and I also love to write letters to my friends because it makes me feel good and it helps me remember special occasions and special events in my life. So I do it mainly because it makes me feel good and I feel happy when I do that. Okay, this is the first, this is how you have to answer. You have to put your emotion into the answers. You have to connect yourself emotionally to the answers. Okay, we have few more answers here. Reshma John, I write more in order to achieve the desired scores for IELTS, which are needed for my credential evaluation. Again, like I said before, you have to add what you're actually writing. What do you like to write? That is the main question. Answer the main question and then move on to why. Reshma John. Okay. So don't get stuck at the sub question. Answer the main question first and then move on to the sub question. As I mentioned before, Sushmita Ramaya. Yes, very good starting. This is how you answer this question. I mostly write academic works in regard to my subject and studies. Sushmita Ramaya, you answered the first question, you didn't answer the second question. Why? Okay, so I'll read Sushmita Ramaya's answer once again. As I mentioned before, as I said before, I mostly write academic works in regard to my subjects and studies. You mentioned what you like to write. You have to add, I mostly write and I like to. You have to also add the word like to, because what do you like to write? That is the question. Answering to the question is very important. Otherwise, you would lose your marks. So you should read, you should listen. You will not see the question. So you should listen to the question very carefully. Okay, so and then you have to answer the question. So here the question was, what do you like to write? So even for Sushmita Ramaya, there is a slight mistake. I mostly write and I like to write academic works in my regard to my subject and my studies. Okay, so you're saying you're trying to put all the answer why in there. You have to say why you like it. All right, the question is about why you like it. Okay, you're writing it for that and because that's needed there. And you should also say why you like it, because it makes you feel good, or, are you able to understand this question carefully? That's how you have to frame your answer. Usually, I would like to write about travelogues. I would like to write travelogues, not about travelogues. Write travelogues, Rahul Revati, because it helps me to keep my precious moments into everlasting. Very good. Very good. Very good answer. See, usually I would like to write about. Usually I like to. Would like to is fine, but the most correct answer would be I like to. Usually I like to. Okay, usually I like to write travelogues because it helps me to keep my precious moments into everlasting. Very good answer. See, this is how you have to answer. I'll read the question once again. Usually I like to write about write travelogues because it helps me keep my precious moments into everlasting. You're saying what you like to write, and then you're saying why you like to write. Okay? That is the question. You have to answer the question. Okay? And like the sample answer I gave you, I like to write, I like to journal, I like to write my diary, and I also like writing letters to my friends. I'm telling what I like to write. Okay? I like to write journals, I like to write diary, and I also like to write letters to my friends. That's what I like to write. Now, I like it because it makes me feel good. It helps me remember important occasions. Since I'm writing diary, it helps me remember important events that happened in my life. I can recall it. And writing letters actually makes me happy and makes my friends happy and makes me happy. So, yeah, you're answering it as two parts. Is it clear? Do you have any confusions here again? Do you have any more confusion? See, this is why practicing different types of questions is very important. Because you might think you know certain things, but when you actually answer certain questions, that's when you figure out some problems in your answers. So you have to answer, you have to keep practicing, you have to attend classes like this, you have to take different types of questions and practice them with an efficient trainer. Okay. So shall we move on to the next question? Yes. Next question. Do you think the things you write would change? This is a bit of a tricky question, all right? But you should try. What did I tell you today? Tonight, when we started, nothing's impossible to they who will try. This question might seem like a tricky question, confusing question, but you're going to try it because you want to make the impossible things possible like Alexander did. He made it happen at the age of 30, We cannot even imagine doing such things at the age of 30. He was so young He managed to do it, so we need to do it too. So I'm motivating you to answer this question. Try it. Just give it a shot and we'll discuss and we'll learn. Okay. So answer this question. Do you think the things you write? So listen to the question carefully. Here now you're even able to see the question. So try to take the question into your head. Do you think the things you write would change? So you've already told the examiner that you're writing travelogues, that you like to write diary or journaling or letters to your friends. You have to connect your answer to that, or you're writing, you like to write reports for your office. You like to write your IELTS practice questions. So these are the things that you like to write. You've already told the examiner that. And then you're getting, do you think the things you write would change? So the things I write is my journal and the letters to my friends. So that's what I usually write. And I think the things I write would definitely change because I'm venting emotions and I'm writing daily events and I'm writing to my friends on special occasions. So each time I write, it's for a different occasion. So whatever I write, I'm sure would change in the future because change is the only constant thing. So I'm sure whatever I write would change. And would keep changing. This is how you have to answer this question. Okay, try to answer this question. Try. Just give it a shot. I know this is a tricky question. This is a confusing question. This could be confusing because we wouldn't have anything to say, but you still have to say because you're the candidate and you have to answer this question. So try it. I'm waiting for your answers. I really want to see how you're going to answer this question. Do you think the things? Yes, I think the things I write would change. Because what I usually write is journaling. What I usually do is journaling and also writing letters to my friends. So that would change from time to time. And what I have to write to my friends would definitely change from one day to another, depending on the occasions or the festivals or the special days. And what I'm writing in my journal would change depending on each day. So things would change. I don't think so. It will make a difference. See, Sushmita Ramaya, if you're saying I don't think so, then you need not say it will make a difference. I don't think it will make a difference. That's what you have to say. You have to either you say I don't think so, and then you say the remaining things. Or you will say I don't think it will make a difference. You have to delete that so, S-O, so. So I don't think it will make a difference because what I write is mostly academic subjects. Very good. Okay. Very good. Very good. Nice answer. This is enough. I don't think what I write would change because what I'm writing is actually academic stuff. What I usually write is actually academic stuff. So I don't think there would be much changes to those things that I'm writing now or anything that I write. Okay. So is it clear? Shall we move on to the next question? Last question from part 1. And after that, we're moving on to your most favorite part, which is part 2. So shall we move on to the next question? Yes, let's move on to the next question. Do you prefer typing or handwriting when you're writing? Do you prefer typing or handwriting when you're writing? So how are you going to answer this? We want to answer this question in 2 or 3 sentences. So first, you would say, I prefer handwriting over typing. Or, I prefer typing over handwriting. Then, what would we say? Because. Rahul Revati is saying, certainly. I deviated many times from my subject while writing travelogues and other notes. However, still I did not find the exact reason behind that. However, I still couldn't find. You can say I couldn't find. Didn't find is fine, but more appropriate would be couldn't find. Your answer, the question was, do you think the things you write would change? Certainly. Certainly, and you add that sentence. I think certainly I think the things I write would change, because many times the things I've written have changed, especially the travelogues and the notes. You can rephrase it so that you can avoid confusion. Okay, the examiner should be able to understand you very easily. Okay, it has to be in a logical order. So you can rephrase it. Your answer is good. However, I still couldn't find the reason behind it. Okay, that's fine. You couldn't find the reason behind it. You can say that. Okay, so we were talking about the next question. Do you prefer typing or handwriting when you're writing? You see, this is why I told you, do you write a lot could also mean typing. Okay, write a lot can actually mean typing also. That's why I said when you answer the question, in the first question, somebody answered it with typing. There's another question, Sushmita Ramaya. Well, I prefer writing because I'm very good at it. Doesn't affect my credit score. Which question are you trying to answer? Are you trying to answer, do you prefer? I prefer writing because I'm very good at it and it doesn't affect my credit score. Which question are you answering, Sushmita Ramaya? And just clarify the answer, okay? It doesn't seem like an answer to the question I just asked or I asked before, so I'm finding it hard to find which question you're answering. So tell me which question you're answering. I prefer handwriting over typing because it's, you can say more easier. No, it's easier because it's easier, not more easier. It's easier. You won't say those two things together. Okay? It's only easier. Easier itself means more easy. Okay, so easier. For me, because it's easier for me to finish the work and gives me a feel of satisfaction. Very good answer, Reshma John. Very good answer, except for that easier. I prefer handwriting over typing because it's easier for me to finish the work and gives me a feel of satisfaction. Okay, very good. Nice answer. You answered to the question. Okay, I like it. And you answered why you like it. Okay, you're answering to the question now. Very good. You've improved. I prefer, listen, Matthew. I prefer handwriting. I think handwritten notes and letters have a beauty that typing can't replace. Very good answer, Lissema Matthew. But you have a problem with the subject-verb agreement. I think handwritten notes and letters have a beauty, not has a beauty, have a beauty that typing cannot replace. Okay, Sunita Manu, good evening. Good evening. We're discussing questions here, so you can answer the questions if you know the answer. Even if you don't know the answer, just give it a shot. Just try. Just put a comment and I will help you. I mostly prefer handwriting because I've been experiencing lack of speed while typing, which can lead to delays during any kind of activities. Very good. Very good answer, Rahul Revati. Okay. Any kind of writing activities, any kind of written writing activities, or yeah, you can say writing activities. Okay. That's how you answer. So now you got an idea. I think the most difficult question here was the third question. Do you think the things you write would change? I think that was the difficult question. And the second question was also difficult. What do you like to write and why? That question was also difficult for you. But you were also answering really well. You're all trying. I'm so happy that you're all trying to answer the question. You're all giving it a shot. So now, okay, I didn't answer this question for you. Do you prefer typing or handwriting when you're writing? I prefer handwriting while I'm writing because it makes me feel, it gives me a feel of satisfaction. It makes me feel good. And I love the sense of touching the paper and pen and writing. It makes me feel good. It gives me some kind of inexplicable feeling. So I really love it. Okay, I prefer writing, handwriting, okay, over typing. Okay, so now shall we move on to the part 2, on to the part that you hate the most? Is it? I've heard many of my students tell me that they hate part 2 because part 2 is the toughest part. And we discussed a method, P-of-fragment method, in the last class, in the last live, and in the live before. We've been discussing it for a few weeks now. I hope you guys remember that. Do you guys remember P-of-fragment method that I told you? I haven't brought the slide of P-of-fragment method tonight because you already know it. And I'll just say the P-of-fragment method to you. I'll explain it to you once again, and then we'll move on to part 2 question. So P-of-fragment method is a method where we divide our part 2 into several pieces, and we focus on each of those pieces, and we'll answer each of those pieces. Okay, the 3 pieces are introduction, body, and conclusion. The first piece is introduction. So you're going to answer the introduction alone, and we'll practice that. And then we'll move on to body. So what we will do here is I'll show a question, and after I show that question, what you will do is you would answer the introduction alone. You would give me an introduction alone first. I'll correct the introduction, then we'll move on to body. For body, what you have to do is you have few steps. First, underline the keywords of the cues, and then rearrange the cues as per the requirement. What is the requirement? Time and place first, then background information, then any cues that you have there. You will take the cues depending on which one you can say first, and you will answer the cue. You know what cue is? Cue is the sub question. So those are not sub questions, those are just cues to help you answer the question. And then we'll move on to conclusion. We'll take the conclusion part alone, and we'll do it, and we'll wrap it up. Okay, that's how we're gonna do. Okay, now, so let's move on to part 2, the cue card. Yes, are you able to see the cue card? Yes, you're able to see the cue card. Describe a difficult thing you did and succeeded. What is this question? Describe a difficult thing you did and succeeded. This is what you have to answer. The remaining are your cues. Okay? So, let's read the cues. What it was, how did you complete, why it was difficult, and how you felt about doing it. I'll read the cues once again. What it was. So when I read the cues, you should be able to take that into your brain. All right? When I tell you that, you should be able to understand it. Understand what's written. So difficult, describe a difficult thing you did and succeeded. A lot of students have problem understanding the question. The first thing towards getting a good score is understanding the question, because you have to answer to the question. Many of you don't actually answer to the question because you don't read the question carefully. So here we're going to analyze the question. We're going to take some time and read the question, understand the question very well. Okay, describe a difficult thing you did. So difficult thing you did and you succeeded in it. Okay, difficult thing you did and you succeeded. Okay, and you succeeded. That point is also important. Remember, I hope you're able to follow me. And next, what it was, how did you complete it? How did you complete it? You should be able to imagine that in your head. Why it was difficult. Why it was difficult. Why it was difficult. And how you felt about doing it. So what was your feeling about doing it? These are the 3 questions. So you have how, what, how, and why. Okay? And how you felt. So these are your keywords. How, what, What is the first keyword? How did you complete it? How and complete. That's the second keyword. Why? Why it was difficult. Why difficult? The keywords for that cue, and how you felt about doing it. How you felt about doing it. That's your keyword. So you underlined the keywords. Now what's our step? We have to rearrange it as per our requirement. So we should start it. We should start with introduction. Introduction, what are we going to say? Give a good introduction. Just direct yourself to the answer. Bring yourself to the answer. Where introduction is not compulsory actually. But we say introduction so that we can have more sentences, more content in our answer. That's why we're actually giving a good introduction. So say the introduction. Type in the introduction. Meanwhile, I'll explain. Meanwhile, I'll tell you the introduction. What introduction you can say. I want to hear your introduction. We've been practicing part 2 for so long. So now you must be able to write an introduction all by yourself. And I told you a standard template. You can go for that template and answer it if you remember that. Okay? Answer it. I'm waiting for your answer. The introduction. For exam, how do you get it? You get the question, you have 1 minute to make the notes, and then you'll have to speak for 2 minutes continuously. I'm not going to do it that way. We'll do that way one day, but after we practice and after we learn it, we'll do it like that. But now let's do it using our P-of-fragment method. Otherwise, it would be really hard for you would still find part 2 really difficult, and I don't want you to feel that way about part 2. I want you to feel that part 2 was the easiest part of all the parts we have. Answer. I'm going to give you maybe 5 seconds. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds, and then I'll look at your answers. Okay, so I'll tell you the introduction, like the kind of introduction that you can give this answer is. Life gives us a lot of things to try. Some things are difficult and some things are very easy. And we succeed in some of them and we fail in some of them. Today I would love to talk about a difficult thing that I tried and I did and I succeeded. That was when I was 18 years old. Okay, you're starting off when it was. A life, Reshma John. A life is a blend of difficulties and success when we start off doing something. Many barriers are hidden on the way to success. We need to be prepared ourselves to overcome. We need to be prepared. That's enough. Ourselves, you can avoid it. To overcome all of those barriers. Here I'd like to talk about an exam named NCLX. I don't know the pronunciation of that, which I really felt difficult. Very good introduction. I'm very much impressed by your introduction. Okay, that was a really good introduction. Your introduction, I'm very much impressed. Very good introduction. I'm happy that all of you, do you want to hear that introduction? I'll read that introduction. That's a very good introduction. You can try an introduction like this. I'll read it for you. A life is a blend of difficulties and successes. When we start off doing something, many barriers are hidden on the way to success. We need to be prepared to overcome all of those barriers. Here I'd like to talk about an exam named, some kind of exam, which I really felt difficult. Desi Nobi is saying another answer. So you all heard that introduction. That's a very good introduction. That's an impressive introduction. Very good. Reshma John. I always try to do new things in my life because it helps me acquire new skills and overcome fears. Okay, very good introduction. Desi Nobi, I'll read that introduction. You guys are actually doing really good. I'm so proud of you. Desi Nobi, I always try to do new things in my life because it helps me acquire new skills and overcome fears. And today I'd like to talk about one such new thing that I tried, one such new and difficult thing that I tried and I succeeded. Okay, you can start saying like that. Impressive answers. I'm so proud of you all. Okay, now let's move on to body. Okay, let's move on to body. start with saying, you can answer either one of these cues. You can answer one of these cues or give a background information, talk about time and place. That was when I was doing my degree, or when I was done with my graduation. That was after my graduation. That was when I was doing my degree, or that was when I was 18 years old, whatever. Okay, you can say that, and then go on with the information, what it was. Start with that, why it was difficult for you, and how. Rahul Rehavdi, I've encountered numerous difficult things throughout different stages of my life. Some things I can achieve successfully. Some things I could achieve. You should start with subject. I could achieve something successfully, while at the same time meanwhile I failed many times to meet my goal. Here I am going to talk about a difficult thing in which I succeeded, which happened to be the administration of injections. Very good. You guys are doing really good. I'm so proud of you. Impressive introduction, Rahul Revati. Impressive. All of you guys are doing really well. Now give a shot to the body. Just try answer 2 of cues at a time. All right, select 2 cues at a time. Time's running really fast. It's being mean to us, but we'll finish this off and then we'll wind up. Okay, we'll do this. We'll finish this question. Okay, answer this question. I'm impressed by your answers, so I would love to see the body of your answers. For body, you can say the introduction that you said. So for me, in my example, I'm not going to take any for example. I'm going to give a different example. The difficult thing I tried and I succeeded was learning to drive and getting my driver's license. So it was really difficult. I'm going to pick why it was difficult first. I'm going to pick that cue first. So, okay. So I'm going to say it was really difficult for me because it involved multitasking, and I'm so bad at multitasking. The driving teacher asked me to turn off the clutch, shift the gear, turn the steering, everything all at once, and also look at the mirrors. It was really difficult for me to do all of those things at once and also control the accelerator. So why it was difficult? I'm done with that cue. So I was supposed to make notes, and I was supposed to write why first. Okay, in my notes, I'm writing why first. Okay, and then the next cue that I'm going to talk about is I'll pick up the next cue and I'll write it in my notes, and that would be my notes. And for why you will write, against why you will write, multitasking. Okay, that's how you make notes during that 1 minute time. I've seen a lot of students writing the whole sentences during that 1 minute. You wouldn't finish writing the whole sentences during that 1 minute time, and you wouldn't be able to say anything during your 2 minutes. So you just have to make tiny little notes, like put number 1, and then write why. Against it, write. Multitasking. Okay, then take the next cue, which is the next cue that you're going to talk about. How did you complete it? So, and that's the next cue I'm going to pick up. So I'll write it here during that 1 minute time. Okay, you can type in your answers. Meanwhile, I'll explain this to you. Okay, so how did you complete it? So I'm going to say, my teacher had told me practice would make me perfect and practice would help me improve it. But I didn't believe him at first. But then he made me practice it almost every day for about 2 weeks. And I practiced it for 2 weeks. And by the end of 2 weeks, I was able to somehow manage all these 4 things at once. Okay, I'm done with how did you complete it? And I'm stuck. I don't know what else to say. And I would tell my trainer, I'm stuck. I don't know what else to say. So then the trainer would say, go for the next cue. Look at that. How you felt about doing it. So that's your 3rd cue. You will write it. I felt really proud of myself. I felt really happy, and it gave me a feeling that I'd be able to do anything impossible if I would just try and practice for it. So that's the kind of feeling I had when I did it. And I would love to try more difficult things in the future, and I'm sure I would be able to succeed in all of those. That's the conclusion. Done. Is it clear? Okay. Are you able to do this question? I think you guys are confident enough. Your introduction was really good, so I'm sure you guys are actually able to, and you would be confident enough to do it better than what you've been doing so far. From what I've seen, you guys are doing really good. You guys are improving day by day, and I'm so happy and I'm so proud of it. Do you have any questions related to what we discussed? Anything related to what we discussed tonight? Do you guys have any questions? Okay, we couldn't discuss part 3 tonight, but we'll definitely discuss those part 3 questions in the next live. Okay, we'll definitely discuss it, and but time doesn't seem to permit us to do it tonight, so we'll definitely do it. So do you guys have any questions? If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll give you 2 seconds. You can drop any questions you have related to what we discussed tonight in the comments, and I'll answer those questions. Okay. So you can tell me what kind of questions you want me to bring up, what kind of questions you'd love to practice. I'll focus on those kind of questions. So if you want me to practice more of part 1 questions or part 2 questions or part 3 questions, you can tell me that, and we'll focus on those parts more. And since you guys told me about part 2 being the toughest part, and part 2 being the toughest part, I was focusing more on that. So like that, if you have any other concerns, you can let me know about it, and we'll work on it together. Okay? So I hope enjoy your Christmas and enjoy the Christmas Eve and all the preparations and decorations and decorating your home and decorate your homes and do all of that. Enjoy it, have fun, and till we meet again in the next live, this is me, Hannah Kishaji, saying goodbye and good night from Neethus Academy, IELTS Speaking Mastery of Neethus Academy. Good night and take care, guys.